Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to the HerVoice DCU Podcast. Today's episode is a super juicy one full of really exciting, fun stories. I'm Angela, I am your podcast coordinator / host, and today we've got a lot of our committee members on, so do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm back again, guys. It's Lora Doyle, the chairperson for this year.
It's my first time here, but I'm Erin and I'm the campus correspondent and the editor-in-chief.
I'm back again, guys. Alice here. You've heard me a lot. You're sick of hearing me, and I am deputy editor this year.
And then I'm Hannah. I'm back again as well, and I'm this year's ordinary member.
Lovely. We have a big group of people today, but I thought it was just going to be exciting. So starting off with our articles of the week, I'm going to get mine out the way because I did it on how to succeed at a Zoom interview. I know that right now it's like hiring season and a lot of recruiters are doing things online. And I just wrote a really just informative article about kind of how to prepare, what to wear, and the way to kind of act in a virtual environment, which isn't that different from like a regular interview, but you know, you have to make sure that you have some sort of sense of personality. And I got an interview with Kate Goodman, who is the business faculty rep at DCU. And when she was doing her interview with Ryanair, she was just like, yeah, I talked about my extracurriculars. And that's really how she got the job there. So it's a short article. Maybe some of you will find it useful if you're applying for internships or jobs.
So this week I wrote an article all about the inauguration and the fashion we got to see at the inauguration, because I mean, I could not stand by and not write about the looks that were at the inauguration. I mean, obsessed. Literally everyone looks so good. But some of the highlights, I might just give you my faves. First Lady Dr. Jill, I mean, the coordinated blue, the mask match, the gloves match, and then there was the sparkle in the blue coat. I mean, I was just loving it. And I didn't mention it in the article, but her evening dress with the embroidered sleeves, the white, stunning. Michelle Obama, I mean, obviously Michelle Obama, amazing. This is so exciting to say this. Madam Vice President Kamala Harris wearing that purple blue number. Amazing, incredible. And of course, the absolute star of the show, Bernie Sanders. I mean, he just sat there with his like nice little parka on, really cute. The blue surgical mask, I mean, that tied it all together. And then them mittens. I mean,
Twitter is literally plagued with that goddamn meme at the moment as well. So funny.
Everywhere. But the mittens, I wrote like a little bit about the mittens because I think they're really cool. They were made out of recycled wool jumpers that no one wanted anymore, and then they were lined with fleece made out of recycled plastic. Immaculate. And honestly, it's just so cute. I love Bernie Sanders.
I loved Biden's 3 granddaughters as well. Monochromatic looks just absolutely dominated that inauguration. I thought it was so stunning.
I love how his granddaughters, they almost like matched in a way though, like they were all so different, but they were still like together, like they literally looked like the Powerpuff Girls or something like that, like in the best.
They were beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly, modern Donna and the Dynamos, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
The newest one's coming out. And I have to say, Ella Emhoff, Kamala's stepdaughter, that jacket with the embroidered jewels on it, amazing. I'm going to stop talking about it now because I will go on forever.
I didn't write an article this week, but I did really like one of our contributors, Michelle Cullen. She wrote one on solo dates, and I just thought it was really nice because obviously coming up to Valentine's Day, there's also Galentine's Day, and you can't go out, you can't see your friends, you're kind of stuck inside. So she put some nice things in, like have a chill night, watch a movie, take yourself on a date, you know, fake spa day at home, cook yourself a meal, especially like during college because semester 2 is always so overwhelming. It's just nice to take a night out for yourself.
I think especially if you're single, it's nice to really take care of yourself and do those kinds of things. I think that like dating, the whole concept of dating yourself really makes you get to know what you like. And I think especially if you're single, spending a bit of time on your own and figuring out what you want is a really good way. And I think dating yourself in that sense as well really helps you make better decisions when you eventually do start dating again.
I literally bought myself a bunch of like Valentine's roses today from the flowers because I was like, I want these. I don't need a fella to buy them for me. I'll buy them for myself.
I was going to order flowers for myself for Valentine's Day. I was like, why not?
This week I'm writing about like a Galentine's gift guide because exactly like what everyone was saying about, was it Michelle's story, like you just take care of yourself, whether it's yourself or your friends. It's kind of like you can still buy flowers and or just chocolates or anything like that, and they don't even have to be expensive, you know, like you can literally go into deals sell Valentine's cards. Like you can literally spend $150 and just give it to your friend, put it in their rat box, and you know it can make their whole day, especially if you are single, and especially in lockdown everyone's just so lonely, so it's just a nice little pick me up, whether it's for yourself or your friends.
I did not know the Galentine's had became that big of a thing that they're doing cards for now.
Yeah, because I always gave my friends a card, but I'd buy them like a funny Valentine's one. But now, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was just buying cards and deals, and they were Galentine's ones, which is so good. Like,
I ordered some Galentine's cards on HerVoice. It's like a Dublin based.
Oh my god, I got some there as well.
They're so cute. They're perfect.
They're so
Where did you get it from?
HerVoice.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like Howard.
It's really good.
How good though? Yeah, I got 4, I think, to send to my mates. They're so cute.
Next week's episode is going to be way more in depth on the perfect Galentine's Day, so stay tuned for that. And now on to our date stories.
I was telling the girls just before we started this podcast, and then I like cut myself off so that I could tell you guys first. But basically, towards, I think it was May. I want to say it was May. I've been texting this guy since like, I want to say that January. And it was kind of like on and off. And then obviously we went into the lockdown in March, and I still hadn't been on like one date with them. We were texting kind of on and off. And then we went into lockdown. So I was like, I'm not like, we went back to kind of just not talking at all, because it was like we were in a lockdown. What do you talk about? And it would just get really boring and whatever. So I think it was then come that April we started kind of talking again. And come that May, he was like, okay, we should go on a date. And I was like, unreal. And I don't have a car, and the only place, I was craving Domino's that week. This is like how trashy the dates have been, by the way, in lockdown. It's like takeaways in cars all the time. But I was like, I am dying for Domino's. Can we go get Domino's? And he was like, yeah, right, grand, I'll pick you up. And he'd been bragging and boasting about this goddamn car he got as well. I got him to pick me up at the end of my road, because I always do that. I never let them know where I live until I'm like, I know that they're not weird. So I got him to pick me up at the end of my road, and I texted into my like Snapchat group chat with the girls. I was like, I'm going on a date, like keep an eye on my location, because safety first, ladies. And I got in, and I'm like, hey. And he's like, hey, it's kind of weird, like, because we've been talking for so long. And he like starts driving out my road, and he's like, you're not nervous? And I was like, why would I be nervous? And he puts his foot to the floor of this Audi that he'd been bragging and boasting about, floors it out my road. Now, if anyone knows me, they know how much I hate boy racers. I think it is the most embarrassing culture that you could ever be involved in. It just makes you full body cringe, and he knew that. So he starts baiting it down my road, and I looked at him and I was like, you can stop. And he was like, he starts like laughing like uncomfortably, because he's obviously embarrassed at this stage. I'm like, you can stop that now. Like literally like the exhaust on his car is like going so loud, and we start like driving up around Arklow, and he was like still baiting it around. I was like, can you please, at this stage people are looking as well. So people that he's not from Arklow, but like at this stage people from Arklow are like looking, and they can see me in the goddamn past of this boy racer car booting around Arklow. He's going so fast that he starts going down one-way streets and has to like awkwardly maneuver the car to get like out of these bloody one-ways, because he's gone down them the wrong way. And I'm just getting more and more embarrassed. So then there's like this road in Arklow where it's like you have to go through a car park to get to the other road, if you know what I mean. He goes in, I'm literally mortified at this stage, and I see his hand reach for the handbrake, because he was going to try to do a donut in the fucking car park.
Oh my god.
No. I looked at him and I was like, I was as chill as anything, because I didn't want him to think that I was like nervous. because I wasn't nervous. I was just scarlet. I just looked at him and I was like, the guard station's right there, and pointed right at the right across the road, because it fucking was. And he like stops what he's doing, like straight away, like stops what he's doing. He's like, oh man, I have like gear in the back of the car. And I was like, this just keeps getting worse. So he like stops the car then, right? Like pulls into one of the car park places. This is like an industrial car park, by the way. It's like not like a nice place to park up. He's like, so do you want to park up here? Do you want to like real life? And I literally looked at him and was like, no, you can just keep going. Just keep driving. So he keeps driving. And he's like, how the Domino's is in Gorey, it's like 20 minutes away. He's like, how do I get down there? I went, oh, just swing back around to my road. And he went, okay. So he's driving back out my road. And then we got to the end of my road and I was like, oh, just stop here. And he's like, cool.
Oh, it didn't click with him, did it?
I opened the door. This is like, it's already bad. And then just to like sprinkle like the icing on the cake was he just the whole thing. He's like, do I not get a kiss?
Oh,
I opened the door and I went back to my house and I texted the girls to tell them I was home. It was 7 minutes. That's how fast he was driving. We did a whole lap of Arklow in 7 minutes. Donuts included.
He finished it with I can't get a kiss.
Oh no.
That man.
But then it got like just cringy then, because then I was like, okay, we're obviously just not I don't like to judge, but like we're obviously just not bloody compatible, right? So he texted me then, I think it was the next morning, he was like, what did he say? Rate the date or something. And I, as nice as it could have been, genuinely, I was being really nice. I was like, look, I just don't think we're compatible. Like, I just don't think we should see each other again. And it was something like to the air of calling me average. I can't remember what he said now, but he said something really bitchy back. And I was like, I'm being as nice about this as I ever could be. And you're being so rude. Oh, another thing, whenever we were driving around, he was booing around this goddamn Audi. Like, he literally is like going so fast and he's like, I'm in a fucking Audi, no one's gonna touch me. I was like, what? Please stop talking.
Ew. I would have blocked him.
I don't think I would have stayed with him for 7 minutes, so fair play. I probably would have not like just got out of the car as quick as I got in.
I think I would have walked in my front door, blocked him.
You know what I mean? I really wanted to get out in the car park and just like walk home. Like, you would have had to drive by me. Just would have been a thing.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, at least you could get out of the car. I think that's like a good segue onto my like date. So this was like summer 2019. I was like kind of texting this guy. I was like 17 at the time, and he worked in the sailing club in my area. If I say which one, it will completely give it away. We were kind of like texting over the summer, and it was like July, and he was like, hey, so I'm like working this sailing boat competition. Do you want to like go on this little date and we can like hang together on the boat and have a fun time? So I was like, yeah. Now I want to preface this, I can't swim, so I had to convince my mother to let me like go on this date thing. It wasn't like an official date, but like it kind of was. So like I walked down, like it's not that far away from my house, and this man has like snacks packed for us and like all of these things. So like we hop on this boat, like this man has like chocolates and like all of this stuff, and we were doing like donuts in like the boat, and it was a really fun time, and almost a little bit too fun to the point where we kind of like sailed away from all the other boats, and we were messing on the boat, and I was on Snapchat, and the boat starts rocking back and forth, and we both fall off this boat with my phone in my hand while I'm filming. And I can't swim, so I start like freaking out. I obviously have a life jacket on. I start like freaking out, like I am just in the water. He's trying to like get out onto the boat, but this boat was like tiny, so it was just such like a disaster. My phone just is completely just broken. His like little walkie-talkie is like gone somewhere. Oh, it gets worse. So he like contacts one of the other like crew boats that were there, and he was like, yeah, so we had like a little bit of an accident, we're both like dripping, and then it's so bad. At least he was wearing something like waterproof. I was in like black skinny jeans.
Jeans when they're wet as well is so gross.
Pulls the boat over to like the little ramp. We get off, and then you have to like cross the road to get to the actual entrance to the sailing club. And obviously, I didn't bring like a spare change of like clothes, so he had some of his there, and I had to call my mom to pick me up, and she picked me up. Well, I had my wet clothes in a bag, and I'm wearing his clothes.
It's the idea of you trying to doggy paddle your way out of this date as well. It's just the water splashing. You're like trying to impress this kid, obviously, and you're dripping wet, and you can't swim.
I can't swim, no. So I'm just like freaking out. My phone just broke, so I had to like use his phone, and she was like, oh, she didn't talk to me for like a day after that. But yeah, I had to give his clothes back, obviously. I couldn't just like keep this man's joggers. Yeah.
What happened after the date? Did it stay? Did it work out?
Kinda. I mean, the next day I like went, he like didn't text me when I got home or anything, so I was like, damn, this is over, like that's it. Like I guess like tomorrow I'm just gonna like walk down to the sailing club, give his clothes back, we're never gonna talk to each other. But no, he ended up going to the school that was next to mine, so he would always like, we'd always somehow see each other. That's kind of the story of me falling off a boat with the guy.
Did you at least save the video to your Snap memories?
No, my phone broke. Like my phone.
Oh,
because I could just imagine the like Insta story or whatever, you know, the vibes, and then like you just like suddenly underwater.
Just doing a little graceful fall into the Irish Sea, as you do.
For a dip, babe.
Oh, stop.
Okay. So, I had been talking to this lad for a little while, not too long, but he was like, do you want to like go out? And I said, yeah, that's cool, that's grand. He was like, okay, we can go out into town or something. And I said, cool, that's grand, no bother. So we went out into town, walking around, having a nice time. And he goes to me, oh, my friends are in this park. Do you want to go and meet up with them? And I said, sure, not a bother at all. So we go to this park, I meet his friends. What I didn't realize were his friends were actually like 2 years older than us. And now I was 16 at the time, and I did not partake in any of the activities that I'm about to talk about. Don't do this. I'm prefacing it with that. So we were just walking around in this park. We meet his friends, and they all had beverages of an alcoholic nature. And I said, no, I have to get the bus home. I'm being a responsible young girl. Don't give me any of that. So I was fine. There was a shop. I went and I got myself a bottle of Coke. I was enjoying myself. And when I say Coke, I mean Coca-Cola, by the way, because I feel like people are going to take this the total wrong way. I'm so nervous that people are going to take this the wrong way. Sorry, okay. So we were just sitting there and it was fine. And they were all drinking their drinks and I was drinking mine. And mind you, by the time they had finished their drinks, it was 6 p.m. So it wasn't like it was late at night and it was summer, so it was bright and stuff. And my date was sat beside me and he said, I really don't feel very well. And I said, oh, right, what's wrong? And he was like, I think I'm going to be sick. And I said, excuse me. So before I could even think, this man got sick on my shoes. They were white. They were new. They were canvas shoes, by the way. They were white Converse. So nothing I could do would ever save them. And when I say he got sick, I mean, like, this was like, you know, babies when they're really, really sick and it just comes out.
Oh my God, projectile.
Oh, no. It was projectile. He projectile vomited. And I was like, oh, you poor thing. I felt really bad for him. I was like, oh, you're all right. And it just kept happening and it kept going. And it was about 10 minutes later, I was sitting there with all of his friends around me. And I'm like, so are you going to bring him home? Because I'm not being responsible for this young man. This is not my job. And they were like, oh, no, we're actually going to a pub now. So, like, I mean, you know, and I'm like, oh, so I have to get him home. Okay, cool. Thank you. That was really helpful. You're such good friends.
Did you know him previously, or was this like your first day? You haven't met him yet?
This was our first day.
Oh, you hadn't met him yet?
We'd been talking for like 3 or 4 months, and it was just because he lived quite far. We hadn't had a chance to meet up yet, but we both had a free weekend. So we went out, and then this is what I end up with. So I had to get this guy's phone, get him to unlock it for me, and had to call his older brother to come and pick him up from town. This brother did not know who I was. I did not know who this brother was, but I had to say, hi, so-and-so, I'm Alice. I'm here with your brother, and he's not doing too great. Can you come pick him up from this place? And he was like, okay. So I had to sit there for an hour with this guy still getting sick on me while his brother came to pick him up. And then I had to walk home. I had to walk to the bus stop with sick on my shoes. Get on
You're
the
a
bus.
better person than I am. I would have legged it as soon as I realised what the situation is.
Listen,
I'm not like sick, but like the minute you said, "Oh, you didn't feel well," I was like, that was if he would have said that to me, I'd be like, I'd be on the bus home, like already tapping the leave card. I'd be like, I'm not a babysitter. Goodbye.
I didn't want to leave him though. I felt bad. I felt really bad for him. But then like once he got sick on me, I was like, oh, we are never talking. Huh?
Did he text you after?
Yes, he did. And he said, thank you for getting me home safely. Can you tell me what happened, please?
Wow.
He invoiced you for the shoes, like he revoluted you for your new Converse.
Sadly, I had to go and get my own new shoes. So
A gentleman. Wow.
he knows who he is. He's out there. And I know who he
you are.
And if he ever hears this, he'll know the stories about him.
There's taking L's in dating. Like there's some things like you have to like sacrifice your pride every now and then, you know, have a bit of humility about yourself. I'm not sacrificing like a new pair of Air Forces for any fella.
No.
What the hell?
Oh my god.
It was a very depressing day.
I actually would have rather get the bus home barefoot or like take his shoes off his own feet and wear them home on the bus than have to squidge in that.
Don't remind me, please.
No.
Between the wet jeans and the sticky Converse, I'm like, oh no. Bad. Mine's just like embarrassing. It was like a first date. But you know, when you're like, I don't know how old I was, probably about 14 or 15. So it's like you're starting to see boys or whatever. So we went very romantic, went to the McDonald's where I live, you know, of course. And how I met this boy was like, literally boy, we were like 15 maximum, was very like my friend's nanny's neighbour's cousin kind of thing. And she was like, you just have to go out with this fella, because I was like, hadn't really gone out. I went to an all-girl school as well, so I was like terrified of the opposite sex and all that fun stuff. So she's like, no, you have to go. And I was like, right, okay. Went to the McDonald's and I made my friend come with me. So it was me, my best friend, and this boy that I'd never met before. And I sat with her beside me and like him in front of me, and he was just he knew of my friend, but was also like, why are you here? And I was like, no, she's staying. Like she's staying. Sat there for about 2 hours, and we all got food, and like he bought me the food and all that. My friend bought all her stuff. We were basically being chaperoned by my 14-year-old best friend. But I was so afraid. I was like, don't leave me alone with this fella. Like, he's gonna kidnap me. Like, no. But then it ended up going well, I guess, because he ended up being like one of my first boyfriends for like 3 months. And when you're that age, like we were married.
That's so sweet.
That's as bad. It's not that bad. It's just I just always find it hilarious that I literally had my best friend sit beside me. You know, when you see those TikToks and people, their friends are like hiding on the other side of the room or something like that. No, she was outside me. Like I was eating her barbecue sauce, or I probably took the gherkin out of her burger and stuff, you know.
That's actually like, that's your worst. You're doing pretty well, because it sounds so sweet.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like it's really innocent. It's just embarrassing though. Do you know what I mean? Because you're only kids. Like,
I know what you mean. I think that's really cute though. It's like a cute little memory for you and your friend to like remember we went to this.
Because yeah, that McDonald's where I live, they've like done up since, but they still have like that OG bit. And anytime it's like by where we sat, it was like near where you'd keep the tills, and I come in there, I'm like, I can't believe I did. like what the hell? That's how shy I was. Where now I'm like, fight me.
Yeah.
Erin, I'm dying to hear your words.
I feel like I actually haven't been on like a bad date. Like they're generally really good. The worst that's happened is someone asked me to revolute them like €5 for half a can, like for half cans. But I had to put up a question box on Instagram because I was like, I want something more fun. So I spent so long laughing. Like, girl, some of the stories anyway, I have a friend and she was seeing this guy. And she'd been seeing him for like a while. No, I wasn't a fan. But anyway, she'd been seeing him and it was kind of like fizzling out. So she's like, I'm going to save it. I'm going to get him to go on a date with me. So she asked him out for dinner. They went into town, and bear in mind our train station, middle of nowhere. So I got the train into town, went for dinner. He didn't open doors, which isn't a big deal. It would be to me. Bill came. He didn't even offer to pay. She paid €90 for their dinner. He didn't offer to half. It was just she's paying. And they had planned to go to like a comedy show after dinner. And he obviously needed to go home. So like they missed the comedy show because he was like insistent they had to leave. Got the train home. And the date's just not going well. Like it's not going bad, but it's not going well. And on the train, he's like being off. So she kind of like looks at his phone because he's on his phone a lot. He's on Tinder. He is fully here swiping on Tinder and messaging back girls. And like, for me, I would have been gone. But he was like, let's go to the local. And she was like, yeah, cool, let's do that. But like, how are we going to get home from the train station? Because in the middle of nowhere. So she's like, oh, like my dad can pick us up. I texted him. And he was like, oh no, I can't get in the car with your dad. And she was like, no, it's fine. And he's like, well, no, because I need to go home and pick something up. And she was like, that's fine. We'll wait at the gate for you and he'll drop us down to the local. And he was like, no, I can't. Like your dad, I can't be in the car. I can't have your dad come with me. I need to go to my house. And he was like, my mum's going to come get me or my sister. And she was like, oh, cool. I'll come with you then. And he is like, no, you can't get in the car. You can't meet them. And she's like, because they had been seeing each other for months. So at this point, she's just like, what's going on? So she demanded what was going on. And apparently he had to go home to get Coke to bring to the local. I think it was a Wednesday, and left her on her own in the train station.
It was a weekday? He's doing
It was a weekday.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Have they been... do you know this girl?
Yeah.
Had she been speaking to him long? Like, did she know the kind of sus with him?
Not to that extent.
Because that's...
Not to that extent, but like they had been seeing each other for a while.
What do you make of the whole paying for the first date thing? Like, do you think it should be 50-50, or like is it kind of... The way I am is I'll always offer, and I've no problem going 50-50, but I do like the fella to pay.
I agree. I'm the same.
Yeah, I'll offer, but I'm kind of like,
I don't mind. No, genuinely, I don't mind going 50-50. If they wanted to, that's fine. Yeah. But if they pay, I'm like, oh.
It feels special.
It's nice.
It's nice to at least have someone offer, because even when like I've had boyfriends for like a few years, I'm still like, you know, like I'll pay today, and then like I don't know, the next time we go out he'll pay, that kind of thing. But it is nice to at least have them offer. Like if they just sat there and I'm taking my card out and they're like, I'd be kind of like,
yeah,
either or. Like I think that works either way. I know it's kind of more like men pay, but like I think even for a girl to just sit there and like not even even if you didn't bring your purse with you, like just pretend. I don't know. It's just rude. I think it's rude to at least, even if you have no intention of paying.
I think what I did on one date as well is I went for dinner and the bill was bloody huge, and he paid. So I was like, okay, drinks are on me for like the rest of the night then.
Yeah, and then things like that are so fair.
Yeah, like stuff like that's fine. It's just it's nice to be offered.
Yeah. I done that on a date before. We went to Token, and he was so nice. He paid for like the dinner. He paid for like all the games. So I think I got like, and he paid for the round of drinks, but I paid for like 2 or 3, so it was okay. It feels better though.
I went to Token once and we literally just did food. We didn't do any of the games because the two of us were too awkward. We didn't know each other well enough, so we were like, oh, this is like a weird thing.
So just keep drinking, like.
This guy was so sweet because he like won like score of the day in pinball. So he was like putting in his name. And he was like, actually, I'll put in both their names. And I was like, no, it's fine. And he put an S in instead of an E. And I was like, you could just put in my middle name because it begins with an S. But like he was a gem. Like he let me win in some games, which is so nice.
That's really sweet. Oh my god.
I know.
I've had literally, this is the only not mediocre date I've ever had in my life. I'm not saying something because I've been on a lot of dates and none of them have been as good as this one. But I was seeing this guy. We've been on and off for years anyway. But I was seeing this guy and he basically said, I'm free on this day. Do you want to do something? And I said, yeah, sure. And I was being the little rebellious teenager I was. I said, my mom's not home. Do you want to come over? Nothing bad. No, not getting into that. But anyway, we were both little nerds for like superhero films. Like we love them. And there's this one like really little old song in one of these movies that I love. I still love it. And he put it on and he swung me around my kitchen dancing with me to this nice little fit song from like the 1940s, and that was the best date I've ever had, was just him swinging me around my kitchen.
That's so cute, and it's so simple too.
Yeah, and he made me a cup of tea, and no one's ever done that. No lad ever did that for me before. He made me a cup of tea, and it wasn't bad either. So I mean, that's my only good date ever.
I think simple dates are often nicer, just because, especially if you really vibe with the person, you're getting on really well and like there's a good connection. That's so much better than having a really expensive dinner but you don't get on with the person on the other end of the table.
Exactly.
Yeah, been there.
Any other good ones? Do none of us have
No.
I went on another good one. I went to like for brunch in town with this really nice guy, and like, you know, brunch is fine, but we went out after the date. We were like, oh, like we don't want it to end, we'll do something else. And we literally got outside the restaurant and it was a storm. Like there was a storm going on because we wanted to go to the art gallery in town, but like it was on the other side of town. It was just, we were gonna die. So we were like, where can we go? It's like around, but obviously because COVID, you can't go for like drinks without getting food. So we went to the Leprechaun Museum, and like so random, but like because it was COVID, like no one was there, like no tourists. So it was just the two of us on a tour. So it was like a private tour, and it was just so nice.
That's so random, but it sounds so like sweet. That's kind of quirky as well. Leprechaun Museum.
Yeah, it was like weird but nice.
I don't know. I think any best, like if I'm thinking of, like nothing sticks out for me as like a best date, but I just think anything where I'm getting on with the person, there's no awkwardness, like that's always just the best. I think my best date was, I think I had literally had a fight with my ex minutes before seeing him. Like I was waiting for your man at the Spire, and my ex was like on the phone, like not on the phone, but like we were texting, and I was like, I'm going to cry if he keeps texting me. It was so bad. And like, so whenever your man came to meet me, I was in a foul humor, and we went to Roberta's, and it was just really nice, and we got on really well, and we went for drinks and stuff. I love when someone's able to get on your level as well. Like I love it sounds really bad, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Erin, but I do love a good boozy date. Yeah, no.
You're over 18, like it's fine as long as you're not a minor.
I love a boozy first date. I think it just gets everyone a little bit more chill and a little more comfortable with each other.
Yeah, and it kind of like loosens you up as well, because like I'm talkative anyways, but I feel like when I drink on me, you are that bit more like, fun. I don't want to say fun, because I'm not saying you have to have a drink to have fun, but you know what I mean? You're kind of more at ease, like you feel all warm. You
don't feel as nervous to just talk about yourself as well, because I get so nervous. It takes me at least like 2 dates to be able to be like, let's do something sober.
I think the worst thing though when you're drinking on a date is like, say if they drink more or less than you, so like one of you is more drunk than the other, it's kind of like
yeah, that's the only thing I get anxious about when I'm on dates. I'm like, behave yourself.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like in your head going, I'd love another porn star martini, and they're like, you get the bill and you're like, okay, like let's go.
That happened to me the last day. I think I went on a date in Bray just before the second lockdown, and your man asked for the bill, and I was like, no, I want another drink.
You're such an icon.
And he was like, he like looked at me, and I was like, I'll have a porn star, please. It wasn't even just like a gin and tonic, it was a full cocktail. And then I went to like pay half of the bill, but he paid for my extra cocktail. The lot, like, I feel so bad.
No, we all need your energy.
I never see him again. Oh
no.
I don't even think of any nice dates I've had. I haven't gone on a date in so long because I hate Tinder. So I literally go on Tinder and like match with like 2 people. I'm like, well, Sean from 2 kilometers away thinks I'm good looking, so it's fine. And then I turn it off because I don't care. I've never spoke to one person on Tinder. One of my friends calls me a Tinderella because people will message me and I'll just never speak to them.
I'm not being funny. I think all my last dates in the last 2 years, definitely 2 or 3 years, all been Tinder.
I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. And so many of my friends have done it, or they've got like relationships with it, but I'm just like, no.
All my lockdown dates were like texting has been Tinder, because how can you meet them?
Yeah, that's the thing as well, because I'm a real like I'm the person, I will send voice messages like instantly, but sometimes you can't do that, and I'm not sitting there typing, so I'm like, either ring me or like, obviously with COVID you can't, you know what I mean, meet up face to face or FaceTime me, because otherwise you are going to be listening to my voice for 10 minutes straight, like on the phone.
I was like you though, and I was like, I can't do Tinder dates. Like it just made me so anxious. The whole thing of like, I hate seeing people I don't know any of. Like we've no mutual friends, so I'm like, I can't even get about you.
Yeah, literally.
But then I just got more like open to it, and I stopped taking dating so seriously last year as well, because I was like, this is just a goddamn nightmare, just have fun with it. And I just enjoyed it a lot more. But anyone that I've been like seeing or dating in the last 2 years have all been from Tinder. And anything, like, considering the fact that I love a busy date and I hate sober ones to start off with, the last fella that I started seeing, I've never drank with him once, because it was all over lockdown. And we were like actually seeing, like, we'd started like proper seeing each other, and yeah, because the pubs are closed, like.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. I'm that fussy. I've like said no to that many people on Tinder sometimes that it'll come up like change your settings or change the distance and stuff, because I basically said no to all of them. Like, obviously, like I've finished Tinder, like, because I'm that fussy. Like,
oh no, I'm the same. I live in, I think it's my area though as well. I live in Arklow, and it's not rural, but it's not a city, like.
yeah.
So my and I also just won't date anyone from Wicklow anymore. I'm just I just won't. It's like, if you're like south from Bray, I don't want to know about it. I don't know why that is though. Like, there's nothing wrong with Wicklow boys. I think I like getting out of Arklow, so I'm like, the further I can go, the better. So my distance on Tinder is like 80 kilometers.
I think mine's like 5, and I couldn't even tell you how far that is. I have no concept of like distance. So you know, they know it's like 5k. I'm like, I couldn't tell you what's in my 5k.
Oh my god, if it's 5k, that's where you're finishing Tinder.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but like it's not 80 kilometers anyway.
I couldn't wait to go on Tinder, because I was with someone for 4 years, and I, like, all my friends at the time would be like on Tinder, and they'd be like in the pub like, let's play Tinder, and they'd all go on their accounts and play it, and I couldn't do it, and I was like, I feel so left out. So like I would be like to him, like, can I just make one for fun? And he was like, no. So literally, like, the first thing I did, I was like, I'm making Tinder, and I'm gonna play Tinder, and every time I'm bored, it's like, it's time to play Tinder.
What's it like going on Tinder after being in a relationship for 4 years? Because I think if you've been in a relationship for 4 years and that's your first time starting Tinder, the whole dating game changed from the time that you got in that relationship.
It was weird, because like I don't like meeting people for the first time. I get so like anxious. So that like really freaked me out. But like mainly I was matching with boys from my local, will never do again. But like it was weird. It was definitely a change. It wasn't a bad one, because the relationship was kind of over months before it ended. But it wasn't bad. It was just more like that. It was why the date I went on that was so nice and token, it just didn't work because it was so soon.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of my friends say. Like, my friends are all, anyone that I'm friends with from Arklow, they're all in their relationships since they were in like 5th or 6th year. So they're all like 5-6 years, and they always tell me, they're like, they don't know how anyone our age does Tinder, because it's so out of their landscape of just dating. Like, they've never did anything like that. When they started dating their boyfriends, they started going out on like Snapchat.
Yeah, all my friends had Tinder. That's how it was like so normal to me, because like all of them would have Tinder or Grindr, and they'd be doing like hookups, and I'd be like, this is normal. So when I got out of my relationship, like I knew what to expect. Whereas if you don't, I guess it's kind of like shocking.
Like, my best friend is in a relationship like 4 or 5 years, like a long time, and she got with him when we left school, so it was a couple of years ago. And like I've had like relationships here and there, but nothing like steady like that. So she's like gone from leaving school to college with this fella. So like that's the big thing. And we were out before Christmas when you could go with my other friends who were also like single. And you know, you're like scouting out the talent in the place. One, it's COVID, so we can't even get up and go over to them, but like we wouldn't anyways. And we're like, oh, look him, and she's like, would you not just go talk to him? And I'm like, no, like you wouldn't do that. Like, no, you don't just get up and you're like, hi. Especially in COVID.
My mom's like, do you not meet people in the pub anymore? I'm like, no one approaches people in the pub anymore.
Mom was like, go up and get his number. He's so handsome. And I'm like, in what world am I going to be like, hey, you're hot. Can I have your number?
But lads don't even do it anymore either, though.
No.
Yeah, they don't.
Lads
are might follow you on Instagram later, but like that's it.
Or be like, hey, what's your Snap? Like, I'm 20, I don't want to use my Snap.
Oh, I don't give my Snapchat. That's like a rule of mine on Tinder as well. If they ask me for my Snapchat, I tell them I don't use it, and I give them my Instagram, because it's always just an unsolicited dick pic.
Yeah.
No, I never get that. I get like a week of Angel, and then it's like, you look really good on top of me. Ugh.
Who raised you?
You know what? You have my heart. Let's go in the back right now. Pick me up.
Wait, I gotta say this, and I don't even know if this can be kept in it, but I remember I was like talking to this fellow like 2 years ago, and he followed me on Instagram, and we were talking for like a couple of months, but I put like a selfie on Instagram. It's like a Tuesday. I'm pretty sure I was at work or something like that, and he responded to it. So I was like, you know, away you go. And he literally responded and was like, sit in my face, X. And I was like, it's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, please. I was like, relax.
Okay.
Literally be eating lunch and they send you the most outrageous stuff.
You're sitting on the bus or something, you open it and you're like okay.
Man.
I fully dropped my phone on buses before because, like, literally, I'd be on the bus going somewhere and I'd open it and it'd just be there and I'd literally just go, my phone would go up. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, like, because I'd have my mom might have been sitting beside me and she's like, what was that? And I was like, nothing, I don't, what you mean? Like, we went over a bump or something and that's why my phone flew out of my hand.
Best story I've ever heard, and this is genuinely a friend. I'm not saying it was a friend, it was a friend. They were, I think it was the start of last lockdown or something like that, but she was in the front room with like her siblings watching telly or whatever, but they had the Apple TV on, and I don't know, like if her phone connected basically to the Apple TV and that was in the telly, and her sister's taking a film and her brothers are all there and she's like just going on her phone, opens it and it's a dick pic just on their TV, and they were like, what are you doing? And she was like, because she genuinely didn't know it was going to be there, so she was like but now they still slag her about it because they're like, she was just sending nudes while they were watching a film as a family, which she wasn't. She just clicked into a message from this fella, and I was just like, I think I'd have to move out. Like, I actually would.
What's worse is like, it's obviously wrong, but it's just wildly like not acceptable, but just expected. And that's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad because they don't ask for your consent. Like, I don't want to see your dick. I don't want to see your mediocre dick. I'm sorry.
They're not pretty. Like, it's nothing exciting. I'm sorry. I have never seen a pretty one, and everyone I get, I laugh at.
I always say that as well. And it's not even like a men are gross thing. It's just like, it's not attractive.
No.
Unless you're using it, you don't want to see it. Do you know what I mean?
But I feel like this might sound like bad, but like a woman's nude, they're all gonna look different. But boys, if it's just a picture of your junk, it just all looks the same.
No, some might be different. But that's different.
Like, it's the truth.
It's the same. Like, there's like certain angles they use when taking photos.
And they're all so bad.
Yeah, there's actually an article coming out about sexting this week on the web on her campus. So look out for that. But lads, it's literally like the front facing camera and they're like all trying to be like all suave and cool, or like they put their hand on their hair to push it down their forehead. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Like, so stupid while they're like,
I don't know,
showing it off. And I'm like, in what world do you think you're going to be a male model, hun? Like, it's just not on the cards for you in your future.
Me and my friends were talking about that kind of the other day, and it sounds very horrible. I don't mean it like that, but I know this is true because I referenced it like science study in an assignment recently that like women do take more selfies than men, and it is kind of more women that do it. I don't know what it is, but it just like gives me an ick. Like, imagine a fella like taking a selfie or like posing like that, like Alice is saying. I'm just like,
I have said that for the longest, or when it's like a selfie.
And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's very double standardy, but I'm just like, if a fella sends me a snap and it's real, like, I'm just like, you sat there and like thought about this and like the like you know, I'm just like, no, I can't.
If you know that they've literally just taken out their phone, they took a picture really quick and sent it to you, I'm like fine with it because I know they didn't overthink it.
Yeah, but if they're like actually thinking about it, they have a filter on, or they're proper like,
they have their hand behind their head on the bed and they're like, yeah, I look cool. Or like they put their hand, I don't get this, they put their hand on their hair to push it further down their forehead, and they try to do like a Flynn Rider smolder, and it just doesn't work. You know, the smolder, and they're like, like I look good, and I'm like, no,
you don't.
I'm with Lora. If it's a quick photo, like Lora said,
that's fine.
I'm like, okay, cool. But you know, if they go for the filter, like I remember they used to do like the dog filter and stuff, and like I just be like, I'm really uncomfy.
Do you have any like dating like absolute don'ts? Like, one of mine is like no sexting before the first date.
Yes.
Have anything that's like kind of a rule that you just won't break? Like, another one of mine that I've had to break over lockdown was, I kind of made a rule like a year or two ago where if it's not dinner and drinks or just drinks, it's not a date and I don't want to be involved. Like, car dates is not a date to me.
No.
You know what I mean?
I think I do like the no sexting for a first date. I think it's kind of difficult in lockdown because obviously normally on a first date you can be like, yeah, let's go like next week, whereas now it's like 4 weeks later and you're like, this is hard. But I think I don't mind going for coffee and stuff. I think a big no for me on dates is please don't bring up your ex. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't get jealous, but I don't want to hear about it. And I don't want to talk about mine.
It's boring.
It's weird. And when they get overtly jealous as well, like, are you talking to other guys and you're like, this is our first date? Of course I am.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have a rule for myself, and I'm going to preface it with this. It's not all of these people, but because I have had a bad experience with one of these people, I'm never doing it again. I literally, as a rule, no footballers, no soccer players.
Interesting.
Absolutely not. And it's because of a bad I've been proposed to by a footballer. So that
proposed,
like literally
ring.
proposed marriage. And mind you, I would like to preface it with, I have never seen him in person. We have never been on a date. And I was proposed marriage. Literally. So that's my reason for no footballers.
I consider anyone under the age of 25 a baby, and like, Alice, you're a baby. We're all babies. Like, why is he proposing?
I don't like going guys who are younger than me. That's a thing for me.
That doesn't bother me. And like, my 2 relationships, they've been younger than me, I think by like a year and a bit maximum. Like, I'm not saying like 5 years, like I'm not cradle snatcher, but like my friends will always slag me about that because they haven't. But like, I've been with people older than me as well, but like, it's just not something that I'm arsed about. Like, if someone was like, oh yeah, I'm 18, I'm kind of like, okay, no, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm nearly 23, so if like they were like 21 at a push, I'd be like, okay, I don't really care. But my friends don't.
Like 2 years up or 2 years below, and that's like a nice.
Over, I don't mind. I think the oldest I've ever had was like 3 years. Like, it's not anything mental. But especially, I feel like when you're in your like early 20s, like say, I mean, like say 20 to 23, if you're 21 and you're like, your boyfriend's 2 years younger than you, and he's still a teenager, that's when it sounds weird.
Yeah.
You get me? But like, I'm, like I said, maybe 23, so it's just like, I don't really care. Like, I've been with lads that are younger than me and older than me, and it's never worked out. So I don't really have like a preference. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care.
I think sexting is such a big one, because like, I've done it before where I've sexted before the first date, and then it's like the first date doesn't happen because I'm so mortified.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
Or the first date turns into a ride.
What?
The first date is automatically then you're just gonna ride.
Yeah, it's just so cringy. I can't.
Yeah.
I would like to say though that any man who gets to see my nudes is blessed. Like, honestly, like this is the mindset that my friends have put in my head now. Like, a lot of girls are getting my stigma for like, oh, you send nudes, oh my god, like you're disgusting, like don't do that. But then the very same guy who said that will ask for them that night. You know what I mean? So I'm like, anyone who gets to see mine, you are blessed. There is somebody, some higher power in the universe just absolutely rolling the blessings out to you, because I would not be doing this unless I actually wanted to. And that's a mindset I believe everyone should have, that if you get to see your nudes, they're blessed.
You just don't like that energy.
I don't trust anyone enough for my nudes. Like, literally, I'm so skeptical about it. And then I started doing my dissertation on the Discord leak. But like, I'm so weird about my nudes. Like, and even if I were going to send one, I'm going to have underwear on, and my friends are going to get it too, because they're going to need to approve it.
Yes.
They're for boyfriends.
True.
Yeah.
Boyfriends, not casual. We're seeing each other 10 minutes. Boyfriends.
Yeah. I'd rather FaceTime, because on FaceTime, like, I feel safer. You can't save it that easy.
Really, that's interesting.
Oh
my god.
I think I'd be more freaked, because like, what happens like if we're all popped out or something like I didn't have an angle? I'd be like, oh my god.
And I'm like, you're done. Leave me alone.
Or just chuck the phone out the window and just be like, oh no, the internet cut off.
I remember when I was like 18, I took one before. Like, I didn't send it to anyone. I was like, did it on an iPad, like first generation iPad. And it probably looked like it was taken on like a DS, but like, kind of want to see it just for the laugh, but like, it's just not my thing. And if it was my thing, like Lora was saying, like, I feel like I'd have to be in a relationship, because I'm very like skeptical of that kind of thing. I'm like,
yeah, I don't trust people. I'm like, no, you don't need this.
When they ask as well, I'm like, you'll see it soon.
When they ask, when they ask,
it's not because they know I just don't want to.
Yeah, that's it.
When anyone asks, I send them a link for porn. Every time when I fail. I'm like, there you go. There's consenting women who are happy to do, not Pornhub, But like I will send them like an ethical porn site where they're like, they're consenting. You can go there. Go on OnlyFans.
That's so goss. Oh, I'd rather pay for OnlyFans than annoy me for my nudes.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I have sent lads who have asked for nudes, I've sent them like pictures of sharks and snakes and camels. Like I've literally sent, and I've done the whole like, oh, send nudes. Oh yeah, here you go. Took a picture of like an Urban Decay palette and been like, cool, aren't they? So shimmery, so matte, like pigment, quality pigment, absolutely fantastic. But I've literally sent people like crocodiles, snakes, sharks, dogs, horses, like, and then they usually just unadd me because they think I'm an absolute nutter. So I'm like, problem solved.
Then they weren't the one for you.
Okay, I think that's a good place to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you go read all of our articles on the Her Campus DCU website. Follow us on the socials, Her Campus DCU, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you join the podcast Facebook group if you want to get involved. And we'll see you next week with another fun episode. Everybody say bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.